Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Code drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip.
Okay.
Let's I think that every streamer has a relationship with their audience that's unique, right? As somebody who's doing it, I don't know your personal relationship with your audience. Is that you, Adam? Was that you toasting? Okay, just making sure.
You were talking about a relationship with the audience, you know, and
right?
Just giving them a chef, giving them a toasty.
Okay, just making sure. So, but it seems like your relationship is a little different when it comes to, you're very open that you are funded by your audience, right? You've said many times that you don't want sponsors, but you started talking today about how no sponsors will touch you, right? Because of for a number of different reasons, for your reputation, right? What is it? Which one is it? Would you rather have sponsors? What's wrong with having sponsors compared to if a sponsor is going to come and pay you $500 to talk about whatever their product is, wouldn't that be better than having to rely on crowdfunding or your audience on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, it's a double-edged sword. It really is, because I could say right now, if I had a bunch of sponsors on my stream, absolutely would things financially be better? Would the pressure be taken off of me to earn on a stream? Yes, absolutely it would. But at the same time, and again, this is something that people will bring up that feels stubborn. I agree. I have always in the 15 years that I've made content, always been critical of people who shill. And there's a difference between, I have a sponsor today and I shill. There is. I know that. You can watch people out there who they put out a 30-minute video and 2 minutes of the video is a plug. I think that's acceptable, right? But then there's people who they try every opportunity to monetize everything they possibly could. Every aspect of what they do is a monetization. I've seen in my React content last year, I watched someone who apparently is supposed to be doing a heartfelt message to about something going on. They're crying on stream, and on top of the stream, there's ads running. You can't turn that off for 5 seconds to do your heartfelt message to your audience, right? For me,
but hold on, Phil, because there are times where you say, look, hey, I really need, I'm in a really tough spot now. I got this coming up, and on the same screen, you have a tip tracker. It's the same type of thing. Like you're tracking your revenue on the stream, and I don't have any problem with that. That's done by millions of streamers, but it's the idea of saying like, hey, I'm in a really tough spot right now. I really need you guys to help me out. And in your words, I'm going to be eating, lunch meat sandwiches, right? Like, what's wrong with lunch meat sandwiches sometimes?
There's nothing wrong with lunch meat sandwiches. I eat them a lot. They're delicious. No, I see what you're saying. For the tip tracker, that's really there for rewarding my audience. And I know that sounds weird. I would prefer not to track tips, because if I didn't have to track tips, I wouldn't have to count all stream. I could just kind of focus on what I'm doing with my audience. But there's incentives, there's rewards that they like. They like silly things I do on stream. They've come up with ideas, not me. They've come up with the idea that if I raise a certain amount on a stream, I put on a stupid hat or a vest. They donate hats and vests for me to wear on a stream to look like an idiot. And I'm okay looking like an idiot for them. I don't care. What do I'm self-deprecating. Who gives a crap? They're supporting me. It's a way to give back. No, I hear what you're saying. The difference is, all right, there's a tracker on the screen. Okay, big deal. I'm not going to sit there and talk about it constantly. If you watch a 4-hour stream I put out, yes, every once in a while, hey guys, it'd be great we get some more support on the stream or whatever today. And then we move on, right? And I'll hit it upon it a few times during the stream. Some people say I hit upon it way too much. And I understand that. Everyone has different perspective on that. I agree that sometimes I do it too much. I'm trying to get better at that. But there's a difference between that and you could tell that a stream is being done because someone is enjoying themselves and having a passion, or someone turned on a stream today to make money. You know what I mean? There's people out there that I feel like the only reason that they're in it is there's no passion. They don't love what they're doing. It's because they saw dollar signs and they want to monetize as much as
sounds
they can.
like projecting right now.
Yeah, but Phil, you just said a few minutes ago, and I mean this with all sincerity, man. You said just a few minutes ago the reason why you still do this is because you can make more money than a 9-to-5 job, right? And
Half
it's
of it, right?
right. So like that's a pretty big half, you know. And I don't know, man. It doesn't seem. It seems like when you're asking your audience for money consistently. Look, Adam and I have both worked with people who like the worst thing you can do is value is look at your audience as a dollar, right? And
Yes.
and this is something that I don't have a whole lot of, you know, I've left companies over this, right? And this is something that I don't agree with. But I would say that when money comes in and you reach a goal, let's say you reach a goal and you put on your vest or whatever, how are you taking that money and are you reinvesting it into your content? Are you reinvesting it into cameras? Are you doing special streams outside of just your day-to-day gameplay stuff? What value are you adding by people? I mean, I get you have to pay bills. I get it, right? What value are you adding to your audience's experience to further that meaningful relationship that you're offering?
Yeah, we've had big goals. Like for example, if we hit a monthly members goal on YouTube, if we hit a sub goal on Twitch, now instead of just doing our normal routine gameplay, I do an interactive event with the viewers where we'll talk for a series of weeks. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see a big React event? Do you want to see a special party atmosphere? We just did one a couple of weeks ago. It was a Super Bowl event. I'd never.
What is a React event? What does that mean? Is it just you watching stuff or?
Well, React would be, for example, let's say there's a documentary, a long form documentary out there that people really want to see me react to. It's like 2 hours, right? But for me to react to it, it's going to take like 3-4 hours. Well, that's going to take a major chunk out of my normal schedule to do. You know, people also don't want me to get backlogged on the games that I'm playing. But you hit that event. Now we're going to do special things. You know, this big React event. It's separate from all my other content. A lot of times it's hyped up. We set special things around it that I normally wouldn't do. Yes, some of that money gets reinvested. I have a series. I know this sounds stupid, but my fans love this. It's called Feasting with the King. Basically, I order a meal and I eat a meal with my audience. They think it's funny because they think it's funny to see me eat. I look stupid. They say I look like I'm in pain when I eat. They like making fun of me, right?
When you say the king,
you're still using the king moniker. I see.
Right, the king of hate.
Not the king of hate. That's the thing.
It doesn't matter. You say the king, and you know that's what it was. So people are gonna make that connection.
You're 100% correct, and the thing is, I do need to try to fully phase it out. Feasting with the King and Ask the King are two leftover shows or events that I do that have the King moniker in them that I probably should try to phase out or rename. But when you have things that have been running for so long, people actually have pushback. Like, don't change it. We love it. It's been like that for so long. Those are my true fans saying that, not my haters. You know. But you're right. I agree there. But anyway, no. Yes, I try my best to reinvest. You know, there was
How.
Well, like I just said, doing something above and beyond. I'm gonna.
Well, that doesn't cost any money though. You know, doing another stream, reacting. That's just making you more money.
But correct. But then the ordering of a giant meal that normally I wouldn't order. You know, I'm talking ordering 2 entrees and stuff, getting DoorDash. You're talking $50-$60 out of my pocket that I normally would not spend. You know, it's not budgeted, but because we did the special event, and I know I hear what you're saying. What you're saying is, if you have these goals every day, where's the money going? Would you really like to know? Do you really want?
It's not. Honestly, it's not that we are asking. It's that I feel like the people out there that have been supporting you, that now have turned against you because they feel you lied to them or you saw them as dollar signs, and that's all that they were to you. It's like, I feel like they want to know most.
Well, then let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute, right?
Set it up.
There was a, you went through bankruptcy, right? And that's pretty public. You went through bankruptcy, and there was this, the $5,000, business expense thing has been talked about by your detractors quite a bit. They say, what could you possibly be spending $5,000 on? Look, a month. You are a streamer who streams, by your own schedule. You're active 12 hours a day doing this, right? And
and by your own admission, you said like you didn't fix the set at all. It's been just a shoddy set for most of your over a decade of doing this.
Right. So there's this whole like what do your business expenses look like? I mean, I've done this for a long time. The business expenses are your initial cost of setting up your camera, your lights, and that's about it. And then after that, it's your cost
Internet
is your
bill.
time. Yeah, is your time, right? And so walk me through, what does that look like? What is it specifically? You know, there's this $5,000 business expense every month. So what is this?
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about things that came out publicly during a bankruptcy proceeding, correct? And I believe that the $5,000 a month number came off of, I believe it's from my a tax return. Is that correct? That it was filed, or you know, the data? I'm trying to remember exactly where it came from. You guys probably know more than me because you've probably been inundated with this for 2 weeks. While I'm so far removed from this.
I want to hear it from you.
I think, again, I'm just speculating. I think what happened was when I filed for bankruptcy, a lot of information goes public. And so they look at a public filing. I guess there's certain information that's made public. I don't think it's all your tax returns. I think it's like 1 year's worth or something. And I guess there was a number that was thrown out there that it looks like Phil spends $5,000 a month on business expenses. Now, number one, I don't do my own taxes. I have a tax guy to do. I pay him to do it. Okay. Here's what I can tell you. All right. I can tell you right now, because I'm working on it right now for this year, what are considered expenses that a tax attorney wants to know you're spending every month? Geez. Your mortgage, because if you work from home, I guess that's part of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tax guy, but your cost of your mortgage, all of your utility bills that apply to you operating the business. Correct.
Hold on, Phil, you've been doing this for 17 years and you don't know what your business expenses are. You don't know what you get tax write-offs on and stuff. I mean, like,
specifically, no, I don't. I give it all. I pay him a lot of money to a tax guy. I have a giant, spreadsheet of data that I provide. They work it out because every year it's different. I get to feel the tax laws change and stuff, and they figure it out. I give them all the data. In fact, just got an email from a tax guy the other day. He's like, we still need this data for you for this year's tax filings. We need how much do you pay for utilities? What's your cost of internet this year? What's this? They need all that information, and I got to get them to, and then they do it. So here's the thing. All right. Everyone, we're really going to get to the meat of it, is this stupid WWE champions bullshit, which I cannot wait to talk about it.
We'll get to that, but I want to stay on this for a minute. Like, just once again, walk me through this, because, like, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm trying to think through
while you're piecing it together, building that up. I just want to remind you, Phil, like you said at the beginning of this stream, you want this to be where people can go to finally, like, you just go watch that video, right? Yes. I don't have to say it anymore. So Correct. Like this, you said, like, what do we want to know? This isn't for us. This is for the people out there that are like, what about the $5,000 a month? You know, so, what about WWE champ, which we'll get into, like, what about these things? So it's like, this is your chance to now say, all right, it was the freaking business expenses, whatever. I mean, it was the mortgage, it was this. I don't know if that's actually considered a tax write-off. I don't want you to get in trouble, but I don't know. It just feels.
No, and see, that's the thing. Again, when I went to that bankruptcy, oh my God, that was the craziest rigmarole, because my tax attorney, excuse me, not my tax attorney, I misspoke. My bankruptcy attorney had no idea what they were getting into with me being a public persona. And there were things you can do, I guess, to protect from online harassment, which I tried to explain. They didn't really understand who I was or whatever. And so when all that went public, that was the most drama-filled bankruptcy hearing ever. The judge was inundated with thousands of messages from my haters about stuff. But anyway, let me answer the question first, and then we can get to anything you want to talk about there. I would assume that the expenses are including everything that I do. Okay, that's related to the business, and that could include mortgage, any insurance that I'm paying that relates to the business, health insurance and or medical costs, legal costs, and that what I'm talking about is my tax attorney, but also other attorney and things that I've been involved in over the years, which maybe we will get into that today, or maybe we won't. I really can't talk too much about certain things. We'll get to that, about identity theft and stuff. I know it's the first time I ever mentioned that, you guys. So, among other things, all the normal things in a month. Like I said, utilities and all of that. It adds it up. Here it is. Here's my tax return. All of a sudden, I'm being accused that that was a lie or something. All right, here's what I can say, because I'm not going to sit here and go back to a 2010 tax return and say, here's what my accountant said or whatever.
Right.
This is from 2010. That's $5,000 a month.
Oh, excuse me. Did I say 2010? I meant 2020. That's totally my fault. I meant 2020. This was my bankruptcy was 2020. So I think the tax return that must be referenced is like 2019, something like that. Okay. Here's what I know. Because of the amount of trolling that happened to me, this judge that was involved in the bankruptcy hearing was attacked online with so much shit. I had to go into meeting after meeting with both my bankruptcy attorney and this judge. Hours of work. We went through line item by line item of all of my expenses. I had to explain to a judge who has no idea what live streaming is, the entire concept of being a live streamer, and showing every single expense and line item and rationalizing what it was to my business. This is this, right? You know, and it took so much work. At the end of the day, after all that extra work and time and money that had to be put into my bankruptcy, it went through. The judge understood. I showed them everything. If anyone should see line item by line item what my business expenses are, it should probably be the judge who's going to make a ruling on if I should be granted bankruptcy or not, right? That's the government, a government representative, correct? They saw it all. They went through all of it. And at the end of the day, they said, this all makes sense, approved.
Well, but in the vast majority of time, winners in bankruptcy experience like some sort of relief, right? Whatever the debt is that you were paying, it's gone, right? So why do you have to go back to the well, going back to your audience, and ask your audience to crowdfund your content when you claim and you still say that nothing has really changed financially for you?
Great question. Thank you for asking it, because this is one of the ones I get hit with every day. We just talked about 2021 and what happened with Twitch. Okay, so the bankruptcy goes through around mid to late 2020. I'm relieved of all this revolving debt that I had in my name, but there's still debt that remains. There's still my mortgage. There's still my car payment. There's still taxes. And taxes is a big thing, because for years there, I was not able to pay my federal taxes properly. And
well,
came back to bite me.
you couldn't pay them, or you didn't prepare to pay them properly. There's a difference. Because
I thought you hold on. I thought you said that you paid a guy to do your taxes.
I do, correct, to file the taxes.
Because I think the one thing that people need to understand is that you are acting as an independent contractor with YouTube and Twitch and whoever, right? So when you're paid, when somebody gives you $1 super chat, YouTube takes 30% of that, right? And so you get 70%. That 70% then needs to be taxed by Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam comes in and they take however much of that. So by the end of it, you could be getting anywhere between 50 cents of that or 35 cents of that, depending on what your revenue is for the year, and you're the tax brackets you're in. It sounds like, Bill, that you didn't necessarily plan accordingly for that, and you didn't save your money to ultimately pay. And if you have a tax person to do this, a CPA, which is for any online creator, that's like the number one expense is having a CPA to do your taxes. That's the number one thing, because going through and that's extremely important. But your tax, has your tax person ever came to you and said, hey, you should probably prepay your taxes. You should be paying quarterly instead of having one big lump sum at the end of the year? Because seems really irresponsible for somebody who works online and has done so for 17 years to have a tax person who hasn't suggested that and haven't had you prepaid.
Do not, please. That my tax guy is great.
Okay.
He I have an estimate of what I should be paying, not even quarterly, monthly. Like, basically, can I make this monthly payment? And some months I can easily make it no problem, and other months I can't. I have to pay less, depending on the income that I made that month.
But that income is based off of your tax for that month is based, and your quarter and your year is based off of the revenue that you're making that month. So if you make $10,000 that month, then you're going to be, then you prepay whatever, $2,000 in taxes, however much it is, right? So the money is already in your account. So why would you have trouble spending? Why would you have trouble with that? I'm really having a hard time following this, because if you have the money, it's either being spent before it's time to pay taxes, or or I don't know. I don't know. Please walk me through it.
Whew, okay. So I have two revenue streams. One revenue stream is very much daily income that I get from my viewers, meaning like tips, let's say. Okay, that's pretty much tips on a stream. The other revenue stream is the other income that I get from YouTube. That's ad revenue, super chats, memberships, and all of that. Okay. Daily I get tips, and that essentially is the money that I'm using day to day to pay some bills, go grocery shopping, buy a new game for the stream coming up, all that kind of stuff. The YouTube money that comes in behind the scenes is what I use to do all my ongoing recurring payments, my mortgage, my car, health insurance payment or whatever. Here's what's happened, okay? The bankruptcy happens. Great. End of 2020, things are looking up. I'm actually getting more popular on Twitch. I'm starting to make good money. I announced to my audience in early 2021, hey guys, guess what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You guys are supporting me so much. The bankruptcy went through. It's looking like if you keep this going this year, not only for the first year in many years, because now the bankruptcy's over with, now I can pay all my taxes properly for the first time in a long time. Because, my problem is we have that much debt and everything. You can't, I couldn't do it. It was my fault. I was in financial ruin. All right, 2021, things are looking up. And then what happens? They get me kicked out of the Twitch partner program. They shut down other revenue streams for me that I can't really talk about. Later on that year, identity theft, which we might or might not get to today. I don't know if we'll talk about that. That's a huge one. Identity
you clearly
theft,
want to talk about it.
And we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, it cost me so much money to fix the identity theft thing. So now I went from I'm good to, I immediately have lost a revenue stream from Twitch. I have to go to YouTube. I'm making way less money on YouTube now than I was on Twitch. All that money that was going to make everything even, I'm good to go now, is gone again. I'm way reduced income again. So you're right. The taxes adjust. Now, nothing else adjusted. My mortgage still exists. My car still exists. All those regular expenses still exist. And now I'm making way less. So this is a running pattern, and I hate this shit. Every time in life I feel like I'm getting ahead, something happens and screws me over. I'm serious. It's like a comedy of errors. It's
but
ridiculous.
once again, Phil, then why not remove all that shit and just do something different? I'm not telling you what to do, but like if you keep running into a wall, eventually you need to take a different direction, right? And like I love that you love what you're doing right now, but if you're still struggling with this so immensely, at a certain point, don't you need to like self-reflect and say like, look, man, I'm running into this wall fucking 5 times. I should probably not be doing this or change my approach to it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. And like I said, I had that conversation with my mom in 2019 about changing it and, not be beholden to people, do something different with my life. Let's be honest. A major factor is money. Have to be honest here, right? That's what this is about. I'm going to be transparent.
Major factor. It sounds like it is the factor. It sounds like you're just spending the money as it coming in instead of saving and preparing for the next month where it might not be as profitable, so that you could be like, I'm saving. Maybe I'm not going to buy that new game. Maybe even though it's probably a write-off because you're doing it for a business, doesn't matter.
Right.
It seems like you just got to start saving money, maybe be a little smarter for the future. I'm not trying to like lecture you.
No, you're
money,
right.
But
you
it seems like you need it. So
yeah, I need what I need. And I've said this before. I'll just say that.
Sure, Phil.
I need like a year, and here's what I mean by that. I need 1 year to make content and not have my trolls fuck with my income.
It's never going to happen.
I agree with you. I now agree with you. I know that now, but that's what's happened. Is every time something happens that screws my income again. Well, wait, here we go. I worked my ass off. I changed who I am. I'm a different kind of content creator. All the things that they had issue with me. This is why they do it to me right there. We don't like Phil for this. Okay, I'll change all of that. Nope, still do it anyway. Ruin his income.
So why change? Why change? What's the point? Yeah. It's not doing anything. Why wouldn't you just stay the person that you were and that you are, or whatever, instead of like trying to like adhere to people on the internet? Because the people on the internet are gonna hate. The haters are gonna hate. Like, who fucking cares? So what's the point? You're doing it for nothing.
I agree. I understand what you're saying. At the same time, I feel like that a lot of the changes have been very productive. I like I said, now I love what I do for a living. I didn't before. I do now. I actually genuinely want to be here every day with my audience. It's fun. I wake up in the morning energized, ready to go. I used to wake up in the morning like, I gotta go play games and film again. That was a horrible mentality. Who wants, you know, I treated it like any other job. This now I love it for the last 4 or 5 years. But I hear you. But yeah, if I were to quit YouTube, let's say right now, cold turkey, I quit YouTube. I can't find a job out there that's going to pay what I'm doing now. You know, in addition to that, there's always the factor that I've been out of the job market for a decade. Who's going to hire a 40-year-old guy that hasn't done anything besides, you know, operate an online streaming business for 10 years?
Nobody with that attitude, though. You know, so it seems like you're already defeated, not even worth trying. So you're putting yourself in this hamster wheel that Craig was mentioning earlier. It's just like there's no option. This is it. So I have to grind. I have to do this. And like that sounds miserable to me. Even though you say you're having fun, it seems like you're just trying to convince yourself that instead of
actually
it might be true. It might be true, but these two things could be true also. I'm just pointing that out what I'm seeing.
Go. I got the drip. 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 Go. I got the drip.
It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.